Hi everyone, and welcome back to Farrand Film. We're doing something a little bit different today. We did it on our Spider-Man podcasts, very slightly towards the end, but we thought we'd do a big full kind of, I don't know, tier list is I suppose what it is. So it's myself and Ollie, as you can probably see if you're on YouTube. If
Hello.
if you're on Twitter, if you're on the podcast, this is a bit visual, but I'm sticking it on the podcast anyway because I'm sure you can kind of get what we're talking about.
Why don't you do your own along with us? I'm sure.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
sure. I'm sure Adam can share the link in podcast land, and you can click on that link, and you can make your if you want to visualize it. And you could probably disagree with us as well. You can be like, "No, you're wrong," and you can interact with Adam on Twitter, not me,
No,
but
no.
interact with Adam on Twitter and be like, "You're an idiot. This is the correct tiering."
Because let's be honest, right? This is like, I remember a couple of years ago, I tweeted out in order my ranking of Harry Potter films, and someone tweeted me and said, "Oh, you're brave to do that on Twitter, aren't you?" I was like, "Why?" And he said, "Because so many people will have different opinions to you and will shout you down for saying that Prisoner of Azkaban's the best, and that actually
And it
Chamber
is.
yeah, and Deathly Hallows Part 1 is the worst, and Chamber of
Yeah.
Secrets is actually pretty bad." But
Okay.
see, this is it, right?
But out of any, if you were going to be like, oh, toxic fandoms who are like really precious over their property, Harry Potter don't strike me as that, really.
I think Marvel do more.
Yeah, and Star Wars, we've done a Star
Oh,
Wars ranking. If you put that out into the universe, oh good lord.
yeah.
You didn't put any of the original trilogy at number one, Adam. You'd be killed in the streets.
Oh, well, yeah. Anyway, we've got God knows how many films there are now of the MCU. How many does that look like, Ollie? 20 or 29?
Just chaos. Absolute chaos. Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're recording this all in one go, but we're splitting it into four. Hashtag content and all that kind of stuff. Make you want to wait and watch and listen. So we're going to do phase one in this one, phase two in the next, three in the next, four, right? So I think the first couple are going to be quite short. Depends on how much me and Ollie agree, which I think for the most part we'll be okay with. But
yeah,
as a bit of a caveat, because I think there's some here that I'm really going to go to bat for, and I'll be very hurt if things don't get where I want them to go.
I can already imagine the ones that are going to come up with
that. We've got 3 vetoes. Now, we've got 3 vetoes across the entire MCU. So it's not just this first video where we've got 3, because that would just be massively pointless.
Yeah.
So there are 3 films or 3 picks that I can say, veto, I'm putting them where I want to put them, and then Ollie gets his veto too.
But can one veto a veto?
No.
Okay.
There's no vetoing vetoes. Yeah.
I do have a substantial advantage with this series in particular, is that you care about this more than me.
Yeah.
Like, these films are way more important to you than they are to me. Like, I really like them, but I've said it a couple of times on the podcast. This is like, it sounds a bit harsh to just refer to it as like popcorn theatre, because it is more than that. But I do just go to these films to have a good time, which I'm pretty sure I will get. Like, Marvel is, like, I'm not finding anything deep in it. They're never going to be like my favorite films of all time. Go back and listen to that podcast as proof for that. And like, Adam had one in there and about 15 honorable mentions, all from this series. So I know it means more to him than me. So sometimes I might just veto something just to troll him, because I honestly don't mind.
And then, because again, like I was saying, this means more to me than it does. The eagle-eyed of you can notice my Infinity War and Endgame posters. So if Ollie is an actual troll and is an actual edgelord, he's saving his vetoes for those 2 films to put them in the trash. But let's hope that we don't get that. So we've done it as we kind of did with the Spider-Man one. So we've done first being, your tip to top, 2-1, 2-2, third, and a fail. Ollie has said to me privately on a separate chat that he doesn't think there's any fails in the MCU. I said I think there's 2, but when I was rearranging the pictures at the bottom, OCD, I couldn't remember which two I said. So now I'm wondering.
It's one of them. Like, I remember saying as well, like, if you said, I think this is a fail, when you say it, I'd be like, you know what, yeah. Because I've been trying to think about what each one is for me.
Yeah.
And Georgia helped me with this, like, when we were talking about, like, the Star Wars films. So for me, the 2 is just good, solid film.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's okay. It's not offensive, but it's meh. Your 3rd is, like, the least you could expect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then your fail is, like, fail, it's in the name, fail to hit the mark.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And then 2-1 is, oh, that was good, that.
Mm.
And then 1st is brains across the wall.
Because I think as well, with some of the 2-1s, especially the early ones, mine are going to be, I enjoyed that more than I thought I would do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because there's definitely one of them in this phase 1. Yeah, because as well, actually, before we get into it, there are some films on this list that I like, but I feel like the fandom have such an affinity for and put on such a higher pedestal that I just don't agree with.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering where that would fit in as well.
Well, that'll strengthen your resolve a bit as well, because there's nothing quite like being told repeatedly that something is awesome and you not getting it.
Yeah.
Which is where I think my quote unquote disdain for something like Hamilton comes from. Like, I am told repeatedly this is the best musical ever to be conceived in the history of mankind. And I'm just sat there like, really? Like, it's good, but is it that good? Like, honestly?
If I go that way, you see my poster. And if I go that way, there's like 6 Funko Pops. So this is where we are. Okay. Right. Phase 1 started in 2008 with the first Iron Man. Now, I have a gut reaction of where I want this to go, but I feel like if we just go straight into gut reactions, these are going to be very short videos. So this actually, quite annoyingly, is the only one of the MCU films that I didn't see in the cinema.
Yeah, I didn't. No, there's plenty I haven't. I don't think I saw most of phase 1 in the cinema, you know.
Right, okay.
Most of it. I might not have even seen Avengers in the cinema, thinking about it.
Well, between the two that came out quite a similar time, so you're Iron Man and Incredible Hulk. Hulk was the one that instantly, for me as a casual fan, was like, oh, I recognized Hulk as a superhero. Yeah, we'll go and watch that one. Iron Man, I was a bit like, what's this about? I for whatever reason, attributed it to something similar like Hancock, where I thought, is he actually a superhero or someone's just made up an idea?
Did Iron Man come out at a similar time to Batman Begins as well?
Dark Knight, this would have been.
What, really? It's that way?
Batman Begins is 2005.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I've just realised now, in my head, Dark Knight was 2012, but that was Dark Knight Rises, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. That'll probably be it then. If it's coming out at a similar time to Dark Knight, which is your favourite film of all time.
Well, this is it. It's like talk about superhero, lethargic superheroes. We've got 3 in very quick succession, and never mind what it's like now. So yeah, I caught up with it on DVD because it was just like I need to watch it. I'm seeing the others. It's all supposed to lead into this thing, so I'll catch up with it then. I like it. I am not of the opinion that it is one of the best.
Oh yeah, no.
So my gut reaction is 2-1.
I'd agree with that.
Okay,
I'd agree with that. It's Toy Story.
Yeah.
It's Toy Story. Like you look back on it with retrospect, and it's a bit dated by what it is, and a lot of the criticisms of Marvel films later down the line kind of stem from this and not moving on from this all too well. The idea of the villain is just an evil version of the hero, and that kind of trope stuck with Marvel for ages, and it's not this one's fault, and it's just like this. As cliche as it sounds, this warped so a lot of other MCU films could run.
Definitely.
But as like this, if this wasn't a success, if this was just an okay film, the MCU doesn't kick off. It would have been Justice Leagued, effectively.
if you open Wikipedia, and I'm assuming the Iron Man one will say was released. Actually, I will read it right now. I'm going to click on it, right? And it says it premiered and it was released. The film received praise from critics, especially for Downey's performance, as well as Favreau's direction, visual effects, action scenes, and writing. If that said, received mixed reviews, we probably wouldn't be here now.
Yeah.
Because they would have gone, well, is this going to work? I mean, not to jump ahead, but if that got mixed reviews and then they released Iron Man 2, we wouldn't be here now.
Yeah, no chance. No chance.
Okay, so same year, 2008. So now we're in June, and this is Incredible Hulk. Now, this is the kind of weird outlier of the MCU, because I think I'm right in saying this isn't on Disney Plus because it's a Universal film.
Oh, really? I hadn't noticed that.
All the others are. This one isn't, because at the time Universal still owned the rights to the character.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's a bit of a weird outlier in that this is Edward Norton, not Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
So you kind of, if for whatever reason, and I'm trying to avoid this as much as possible with Ruby, if you end up with a kid who has seen Avengers films but hasn't seen anything that came before it, and then you go back to it, they're going to be like, well, that's not Hulk. Because I want to, when she's old enough, I want to do from Iron Man to the end with Ruby and, you know, take her through that kind of journey. But I watched this one at the cinema, and I am still of the opinion that it's a shame that it went the way that it did.
Yeah.
Because as much as I like Ruffalo as the Hulk, I really liked Norton as the Hulk.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that he was like really mild-mannered, that kind of offset it really well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't feel like, especially with Ed Norton, who's known for like throwing himself into a role, I didn't feel like he was in it.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? I feel like it felt a bit dollar signy for him. And Liv Tyler, like, I don't know what it is with, I don't know what that character's called in Hulk, because I'm pretty sure Jennifer Connelly played her in Ang Lee's film. I'm pretty sure, is it Betty Ross?
Betty Ross, yeah.
Betty Ross. And it's just, maybe it's the character, but like both the time, and maybe it's the actresses they get into play it as well, but both Jennifer Connelly and Liv Tyler play that a bit dead-eyed. And one, like, because obviously the Ang Lee film is a bit of a mess. Like, it's a fun mess, but it's a bit of a mess. And like, they'd already nailed the casting of Thunderbolt Ross in that, and they didn't get that. They had Sam Elliott as Thunderbolt Ross. You can't top that in terms of casting. Yeah, they got William Hurt, who's a fantastic actor, but he's not Sam Elliott. He's not got that voice that you expect to hear on like an advert for a Ford pickup. Which is what you need for Thaddeus Ross. It's a really forgettable film, and I think it says a lot that you're looking at watching the MCU with Ruby when she's a bit older. Even if Disney had this on, you could skip this quite easily.
Yeah.
I think the intro he gets later on is more than enough, especially to get away from any confusion of, oh, you've got the same actor or whatever. Like, yeah.
Because I agree with you in that the intro that he gets in Avengers is almost like setting up a new character.
Yeah.
In that, yes, they are doing the thing of going, we've just released these films that star these 4 characters. We're going to go and pick them all up at different points to bring them all together. But had they not even done the Incredible Hulk film and just done that scene where Black Widow finds him and he's just working with people, you know, because he's a doctor and he's, you know, that exact, because there still would have been a mainstream audience knowledge of, oh, that's Hulk. I know who that is, you know, without the film. Gut reaction is a 2-2.
Really? I was thinking lower.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking this was a potential fail, and that might be a bit harsh.
That's harsh.
Because it's just there's bits like, isn't Tim Roth's character meant to be Russian?
Emil Blonsky, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, but he's Cockney because he's Tim Roth, and Tim Roth, for whatever reason, refuses to do accents anymore. Like, even though he's provably good at accents, if you look at him in like Rob Roy and stuff like that, like he's provably good at accents. Yeah, like
actually, the other thing as well is we're talking as the She-Hulk trailer has been released recently, and they've brought Tim Roth back as the Abomination.
Well, they did in Shang-Chi as well, don't forget.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. You don't know if it was Tim Roth, but Abomination. So I'm edging towards third, personally. I don't think this is I think this is like the least you can expect of a film.
I'm not going to veto because I don't think this film's worth it.
Yeah.
I'm going to compromise. I'm going to stick it in third because I'm wondering if I'm blinded by the tone and the way that they shot and made the opening sequences. Because I think the whole beginning bit where he's working in the factory and you're worried about whether or not he's going to kind of get angry and the sort of tensions there. But then the minute you see him as Hulk, it's like, keep going. We'll show him as Hulk all the time. Yeah. And then you get into a bit of a kind of CGI splurgy.
I mean, one bit of, I don't know if it's for this film in particular, one bit of credit I'll give Marvel is they learned from this. I think it's very telling that they haven't tried a Hulk solo film since. I think they realized that Hulk works better as a supporting character. And that's been proven since.
I was very surprised in the most recent She-Hulk trailer to see Hulk in it. Because I thought, are they really going to put Hulk in the show? But, yeah. Okay, right. So Hulk's a third. Iron Man 2, 2010. I saw this at the IMAX. So it was like, I think it's one of my least watched.
Yeah.
In that I tend to after I've bought them on like Blu-ray and whatever, go back and watch them again. I don't think I've been back to watch this many times. Mickey Rourke's Whiplash. Yeah.
There's so much potential in there. Like, there's bits of Mickey Rourke I actually love because he is a gifted actor. Like, he shouldn't be because his entire face is made of plastic at this point. But he's an incredibly gifted actor, and there's bits to Whiplash that are great.
Yeah.
It's just this film's a bit confused, isn't it? It doesn't know what it wants to be. Like, it goes from like, ooh, la, la, la. Like, they haven't found that tone of, here are the jokes, here are the serious bits. They hadn't found it at this point. And it's, but there, and this was back when Sam Rockwell was like a bit of a joke actor.
But I mean, Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer, like, is one of the best characters that we've not returned back to much.
I know, like, and it is because he is just a bit of a wah wah kind of character, and it's like Sam Rockwell has proven, like, especially recently, you look at like 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, like, he's incredible in that, and Moon even, like, there's just so many films where Sam Rockwell is like, he's almost doing a Matthew McConaughey. He kind of had this career as like a bit of a silly, goofy, like, background character almost.
Yeah.
And now he's like, no, give me Oscars. I deserve Oscars.
Yeah.
I am worthy of your attention. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like there's a lot of wasted talent in this, isn't there? And
because I think as well, you've got the weird, I feel like it was like hanging over it a little bit. But again, I'm wondering if a mainstream audience even cared, in that you had the weird sort of Terrence Howard didn't want to be in this one, or he wanted too much money to be in this one.
Yeah.
So Marvel just said, right, well, we're going to get Don Cheadle instead. And it's like, I don't think that happens now, because now everyone who's been in a Marvel film and then Marvel ring up and said, do you want to be in this one again? They go, yeah, because they know it's a decent payday. And it's like, we'll go and do it. Whereas back then, it's like, he's like, oh, well, maybe I should have a bit more money to do that. And he's probably, I'd imagine he's regretting his decision with the amount of times that Cheadle's popped up recently.
I will say, though, Cheadle's better.
He is.
He's just a better actor. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you look at Cheadle and, like, you get the sense of, like, him and Robert Downey and him and Tony Stark's friendship. You get that they are friends and they annoy each other and they have a go at each other. Terrence Howard just like he seemed like he hated Tony Stark because he probably hated Robert Downey Jr. if rumors are to be believed. So it's just I don't quite like Terrence Howard, and that's a positive from this, I guess. And you get Gary Shandling starting off as like the senator who and he gets that one line. It's like, oh, what's the one line at the end where he like stabs him with the Congressional Medal of Honor?
I have no idea.
It's like it's amazing how much pain can be caused by one little prick or something.
And you get this is the introduction to Black Widow as well. So
and it is that fun. Oh, let's have Happy looking at her getting changed in the back of a car. Because it was this Jon Favreau directing as well.
This was
right. Okay, so he wrote himself into that scene.
I like that scene.
You're creepy, but I will say I do like where the pair of them break into that. I don't know what it is. Is it Hammer Tech or whatever?
Yes.
And Happy is like taking on that one guy and really struggling with it. And Black Widow just casually takes out about 7 guys. And Happy looks up and like really excited, like, I got him. And like they're all like prone on the floor.
Again, gut reaction. Third.
Yeah, I think it flirts with the 2 too, because they're all bits I like. But I think third is fair.
Yeah, it's not a memorable one.
No.
It's not one to keep going back to. Okay, 2011, Thor.
It's a weird one.
This is the one where I enjoyed it more than I thought I would do.
Yeah, like, I think gut reaction for most people would be like, oh, it's a third. But, like, it's pretty good. It does the fish out of water thing really well. It introduces some fun characters. I think it's a good, solid film.
I think there's enough comedy in it.
Yeah, another bang.
Yeah, the tone of Thor has shifted massively.
Yeah,
like, but I think for the right reasons. In that the doofer, your dark world, like Christ, how dark and moody and melancholic do we need to be?
I know.
All of a sudden, you get Ragnarok, where it's like, oh look, we're funny now.
Yeah.
So
I think, but this proves that Thor, especially amongst humans, is a bit of a goofball. And
yeah.
And like the one thing I really do not like about this is Chris Hemsworth's eyebrows. What is that? What is that nonsense?
What?
Look at his eyebrows in the first film. It's horrifying.
Okay.
They're bleached.
Right.
They bleached them blonde. So
I don't notice this kind of stuff.
Oh no, it's because they wanted him to be dead blonde, and he's got these bleach blonde eyebrows. It's like, oh, that's bad.
So in all the other films, has he got bleach eyebrows?
No, they just they're like, that's stupid. Let's just keep him with his normal eyebrows.
I was looking at my Thor Funko Pops, thinking, oh yeah, they'll have normal coloured eyebrows.
Yeah, let's just let Chris Hemsworth have his normal coloured eyebrows because he is a blonde man with darker eyebrows, because that's how it works a lot of the time.
I'll be honest, my gut reaction is a 2-1.
Really?
Yeah, I think this is as good as the first Iron Man, if not better.
I mean, you compromise, so yeah. Like,
just because I think it sets everything up in terms of like him and Loki. And the sort
I don't know if it does with Loki. I think the Loki we end up with is very different. Like,
I enjoyed the Hawkeye introduction.
Yeah,
but I will admit, when I watched it, I thought you weren't on set when they filmed the rest of this film.
Yeah,
or in a different place right now, my friend.
At that point, wasn't Thor fighting Ving Rhames? I swear that's the thing. That the guy who was like, "You're big, I fought bigger." I swear that's meant to be Ving Rhames in a cameo, which is weird. Like, I swear, like, it is weird because it's like, you're a big enough actor that you should have some lines, mate.
Yeah,
I don't know if they got caught or whatever, but
yeah, no, I really like the first Thor. I think again, maybe because I was so surprised by it, because I think we've mentioned this on podcasts before. Anything that is sort of like set in a sort of period of time, I say that right. What I mean is, like, I'll go and watch something that's set in like the 70s, for example, but anything that is like a period piece, or your buddy Troy's and Alexander and all that kind of stuff, I'm not a fan of. I can't get on board with it. I find them quite boring and quite dull. This isn't it. But to me, because of the where it's set and with Asgard and stuff, I think from the trailer I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this, but then I did. So
there's the fun moment as well as a little tidbit of information, because that's what I really bring to these. Do you remember where Thor and Odin are having that big argument before he banishes him to Earth?
Yes.
And Tom Hiddleston just steps in like, "Father, please," and Odin, played by Anthony Hopkins, just goes "Argh!" at him, and that's not in the script. It's basically described as just Shakespearean noise. Because obviously Anthony Hopkins, classically trained Shakespearean actor, and Tom Hiddleston brought it out of him because he's also like proper Globe Theatre boy. Like, he's done loads of Shakespeare, shockingly.
But again, Kenneth Branagh, Shakespearean,
Yeah, you forget that Kenneth Branagh directed this. He's got a little catalogue of, that was decent films, doesn't he? Like, between this and Cinderella, it's like, that was all right.
Hey, Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, that's a pretty decent film. Here we go. Right.
I'm not just saying that as well. Like, I've seen it and it's like, oh, okay.
I quite liked it.
Yeah.
Where are we? Captain America, the First Avenger. Now, again, I've not seen this anywhere near as much as I've seen other ones. Because I remember watching it in the cinema and coming out, and to your sort of description of a tutu, going, it was all right. But then the thing I remember most about this is being in Manchester while they were filming it and going having a look at all the sets and stuff. That's the only affinity I've got for this film.
Yeah, I think
the Howling Commandos.
Yeah, I think so.
They're all fine, You don't
really know any of them.
Tommy Lee Jones
is great.
Yeah, Maximum Grizzle,
Yeah, like what is this? Steak. What's in it? Cow. Like, it's a weird. It's weird that Tommy Lee Jones was okay with being in a Marvel film, but he really is great in it as well. I remember one affinity that I have for it, which is a weird one. I remember feeling a bit hipster about Hayley Atwell because I'm pretty sure this was like her big break. Like, I'm not sure she'd been in like a massive film before this. And I remember, what year was Captain America released?
2011.
2011. So I would have seen into like almost a year before, maybe two. Me and a bunch of students from my school went to London. So it's all the kids that did drama in my school, and we went to the National Theatre. We saw like some of the behind the scenes stuff for Warhorse that was due to come out. I think it was like just about to come out for the first time as well, and it was like they were showing us all the animatronic horses. But we went to watch View from a Bridge, and she was in it. Hayley Atwell was in View from a Bridge as Catherine, and she was incredible. And I remember just remembering the name because I try and remember who played the other people. So Beatrice was Marie Elizabeth, Italian name from, she's in The Abyss and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Not a clue.
She plays Maid Marian in that, and Eddie is the guy who plays Rebus. The angry Scottish man. So it was a really good chat. And it was like, well, this Catherine's a really good actress. And then she rocks up in a Marvel film like 2 years later. It's like, she's going to be really good. And lo and behold, she was.
I must admit, I have a big affinity for Hayley Atwell and Peggy Carter. I've got a bit of a soft spot for her. Can't lie. So
down, boy, I will get the hose.
It's like, what was it? This came out, and then the Sweeney came out like the year later with like Ray Winston and Plan B.
Plan B,
Yeah, and Hayley Atwell was in it, and I went to go and watch it with my mates, and Amy was like, "Oh, was it all right?" I was like, "Yeah, Hayley Atwell was in it." There's a point where she's in a sort of underwear, and she was like, "Oh, I bet there is. Bet there is."
I don't know why you'd say that to your wife.
The kind of relationship that we have. I'm just going to be honest.
I'm trying to picture telling Georgia I enjoyed a film because I'm trying to think. Oh, the one that would annoy most is Jennifer Lawrence. She hates Jennifer Lawrence. She doesn't get the hype at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
No, we're just honest with each other. I tell her everything that I mean. Tell her everything that's in my mind. Yeah.
I think 2-2 for Cat.
2-2, right?
Yeah, it's good. We forget about Hugo Weaving as well in his only MCU film because he refused to come back. But he's great.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
I mean, we might talk about it a little bit, but the fact that they brought Red Skull back in the way that they brought him back, I was like, does this make sense? But it is what it is. Right. End of phase 1. The Avengers. So you said you don't know if you saw this at the cinema.
I am pretty sure I don't know.
I easily saw this 5 times in the cinema. This was at a point where, so me and Amy would have been in Bangor in North Wales where we were at university, and we saw it on the Thursday, which was the day that it came out. And then my mate texted and said, "Are you back this weekend?" Yes. "Have you seen the Avengers yet?" Yes. "Oh, do you want to go and watch it again?" Yes. So I went day after, and then I watched it again. Like at some point, I remember the last time I watched it was the week before the Blu-ray came out, because for whatever reason the cinema was still showing it, and I was just like, yeah. So I know where I want to put it.
Yeah.
I want to give it a first.
Veto. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, you slide. You had me for a second.
It's easily a first.
The fact that they managed to do it.
This is such a good payoff of, like, if you're looking at it now, like we've had a couple of films where you're like, oh, that was pretty good at best.
Yeah.
And like the way they've tied that together into a coherent narrative, and like, if you want to, you can pick it apart, like Loki's plan. There was a bit of a cliche of, oh, the villain deliberately got caught because they knew all this stuff would happen.
Yeah.
But like, look, you don't care. It was so much fun. And like a lot of the little flaws from those previous films just get addressed.
Yeah.
So quickly. So well. Like, people complain about Captain America using a gun. And it's like, I get it. Like, it's a bit of a naff complaint, but like, and he still uses a gun in this, but he doesn't like kill anyone, as far as I'm aware. And like, he's just, this is just such a good film, and the way they work together, the way they, they fight for a bit, but then they make Coulson. Oh man, Coulson. It's not. We've not mentioned him once until it's too late.
Because I tell you what, right. The fact that they edited it afterwards really annoyed me, in that I very distinctly remember seeing it for the first time when he gets stabbed by Loki and the scepter coming straight out through his chest. But then for whatever reason, I think in the Blu-ray and the DVD edits, they edited out it coming out of his chest because apparently it was too graphic.
Was there any blood on it? Because I'm pretty sure there wasn't.
I think there's more blood with it not being there because they have to then put a circle of blood on his chest.
Yeah.
It's
one of that, like, this is our Loki introduction. The Loki we get in Thor is not the same Loki as here. The Loki we get here, and you can explain it because he's fallen from the Bifrost and he's like, maybe that's what's driven him insane. But this is the point where Loki becomes a meme in terms of every single girl just like, like, because they didn't care about Loki when he had his short hair and he had to keep wearing his helmet. They care about long hair Loki and his evil staring. And
I mean, this was the reason why I had to Google what a quim was.
Yeah, that was a hot. Yeah.
I was like, "What is this?"
You mewling quib. What an insult.
Line of dialogue is this?
Yeah. Well, it's one that Josh Whedon would write.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only like real negative about this film.
Let's
now
not
is
go
that
there.
it's a Josh Whedon film, unfortunately. And it does, but like, and there's loads of like little moments that I really nod. It's like, what's that line that Cap says to Nick Fury, who again we haven't mentioned yet, and that's a bit of a crime because Nick Fury has been great so far. But Cap says something to Nick Fury along the lines of, I'll give you $5 or $20 if you can surprise me at this point.
Yeah, and then
and then they get on the helicarrier, and Steve's just walking around the bridge. He just hands Nick Fury a bill. It's like, yeah, that's cute. And like Tony being like, that man's playing Gallagher, which is the plot of the film ultimately. Yeah. They get waves of enemies, and then they destroy the mothership, and then it all, that's the end of it. But yeah, like it's a great film. It
is such a great film. It's one that I go back to a lot, and just I'm very, very happy to watch it over and over and over again. And then this was the first with the post credits. This was the first where we got a look at Thanos. Quite early on.
It was just some bloke. It was let's say that he's probably fairly renowned as an actor, but it wasn't. But it wasn't. God, what's his name? Josh Brolin. It wasn't Josh Brolin at this point, was it?
No.
So,
well, easy so far.
Yeah, nice and easy.
Done. Yeah. So, that's the end of phase 1. So to recap, we've got nothing in a fail so far. We've got Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 2 in a third. Captain America: The First Avengers are 2-2. Iron Man and Thor as 2 1s, and the first Avengers film as a first. That's all right so far.
I'm looking at Thor and thinking that's a little high. Personally.
Well, what we'll do once we've put them all in at the end of phase 4, we'll have a shuffle round and we'll see where things are.
Fair.
Right. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. We will be back very, very soon with phase 2 because we're staying on the call and carrying on.
Behind the scenes magic.
I know. This is it. Go over to our sponsor, Off-World Tees. Use the code Farrand, that's FARRAND, for 15% off your order. They've just added Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and World's End themed T-shirts.
Oh.
So if you want to look like you work for Sanford Police Department, you go get over there. And if you I very nearly bought the pub crawl T-shirt from World's End, but it does say the famous cock on the back. And I thought, I'm not going to do that.
No, look, catching them swans then. Oh, it's just the one swan, actually. I'm trying to think what quote I would want on a Hot Fuzz T-shirt because it's my favorite comedy film of all time.
Oh, there's too many. I always love the Andes. I bet you're wondering why they call them the Andes. They're both called Andrew. They said you were good.
Oh, and talking to him is an uphill struggle, and then one of them lobs a bin at his head.
Yes. Anyway, stay safe, look after each other, and we will see you in phase 2.